guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're gonna upcycle some of my clothes that are either too big or not my style anymore. Here you can just see me sifting through the clothes, and the one with the plastic is actually my sister's, and I did find some gems in there that we are going to be upcycling for today. Here I'm just ironing the polo shirt because it was so wrinkly, but we are gonna be using this for this top that was inspired by Maddy from Euphoria. I think I haven't really watched it, but I do know they have some very trendy outfits, to say the least. And now I'm just going to be using a seam reaper to release the seams of the back of this skirt. And you can also use scissors if you don't have a seam reaper, because I know not everyone has a seam reaper, but you can also just use plain old fabric scissors. And then you'll end up with this long piece of flat fabric that we can use for our shorts. Here's what it looks like right now without the back seams connected. Now I'm just going to be pinning the underbust, or where I want the polo shirt to end, because again, as I said, I will be using this top as an inspiration. So I'm also just going to be pinning the end, or where I want the band to be. And after you've done pinning that, then we can go on and actually draw what it would look like. So I'm just going to be marking 2 inches below the armpit area, because looking at the photo, that's how it looks like, you know, just like 2 inches seems like a good place to have that much space, if that makes sense. And then what you're seeing here is the pin of the underbust, or where I want it to just kind of end. Again, this all depends on you. And then we're going to be drawing the curve. You can just freehand it. It's actually easier to freehand it. I do have curved rulers, but I know not everyone has that, so freehanding is a good choice. And then we're just going to connect from the side seam to the bust. So it kind of looks like a J, a sideways J, but not as curved. Now we're going to be adding the seam allowance. I'm going to be using 1 inch all over, except for the band area, because we are going to use that to create kind of an opening so that the band can go through it. So that part we're going to add another inch, so that will be 2 inches. Next step is to fold the polo in half, making sure that the side seams are aligned with each other. First, before doing anything else, you gotta pin the side seams, and here I'm just showing you the best I can how I pinned it. So hopefully that makes sense. You just gotta hold the side seam and then pin. See, I'm holding the side seam and then I pinned it just like that. And then before cutting anything, you also pin the seam allowance from the base fabric itself, so that it won't move as much. And then for the back, it's just a straight below the 2 inches below the armpit, if that makes sense. And again, before cutting, make sure to pin so it doesn't move around as much. And here is what it looks like. We are getting closer to the finished product. And now I'm just going to snip the curved edges so that it won't pucker as much. And just again, make sure to pin. Pins are your best friend here. And this is what it looks like pinned. The curved part, as you can see, because of the snips, it's not puckered. And then we're gonna go ahead and sew. But here I'm just wearing to see what it looks like, and then I've pinned the collar part, and that part also depends on you if you want to sew the collar and like create a v-neck, or just leave it as a button up if you want it to be more covered. That part depends entirely on you. Now we're going to be creating the band. So I actually, as you can see, I cut the inch off the outer band because we're not really going to be using that. The band that we're just going to be using is in the inner part. That's where we're going to create our space for the band to go through. As you can see, I'm double folding it. So fold it 2 times over so the raw edges are hidden, as you can see in the video. And then if it's easier, you can actually sew that first before creating the little loop that we just did here. Again, before sewing anything, pin. As you can see here, the ends are not lining up together. So I just took the pin out of the outer band and cut like 1/4 of an inch so that when it's folded, it will line up again. It's 2 inches of the band, so we're going to be creating 3/4 width of a band, because 1/4 is the seam allowance, 1/4 for each side, and then the band will be 3/4, as you can see here. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, the allowance is 1/4 inches. And then just spinning the side, make sure that the fabric that you want to be seen outside is the fabric that's inside right now, because we are going to be turning it inside out. And then you can just see that I cut the corners so that when we turn it inside out, it will have more of a sharp edge outside. Now let's create the shorts. So this is me. I just cut the front pattern of the shorts from the skirt fabric that you saw earlier, the one from the skirt. I'm just going to show you how I got the pattern from the short. Lay your shorts as flat as possible, and then we're just going to be tracing the seams part. Just try my best to show you here. As you can see, you line it up, and then I just trace the seams part of the short that can be seen. And then I added some allowances because I don't want it to be fit, because this short is a fitted type of short, and the short that I'm gonna make, I don't want it to be fitted. And then from the back, we're going to flatten the part in the crotch area. As you can see, I flattened that part on the crotch area. And then just think of it as a puzzle. First, we're going to trace that one from the crotch area to where it ends, and then we're going to match it up once we flatten the other side of the back part. I hope it's making sense. I've tried my best to show it in the video. As you can see now, let's flatten the other part. We can't see the crotch area anymore, but we still can trace that part here. Just make sure to line up where you ended, and then complete the puzzle. And the paper I used here is a pattern paper that's a bit sheer, so I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the color, so you can actually see the seams. I will try and link where this type of paper can be found, because it's very helpful if you want to take patterns off of dresses and off of clothes. Now we're just going to sew the shorts part. As you can see, I use another fabric to complete the short because the fabric from the skirt is too little. This is what it looks like. I stitched the side area as well as the crotch area, and also did that to the other part. So now you have two of those types of fabric, let's call them that. And what you're going to do is line up the crotch area, as you can see here, and then just so it's easier, use your hands to pin where you want it to be. So you can see this is the right side of the fabric and then the wrong side of the fabric. Right side, wrong side, and that's where the crotch area is lined up. And then that's where you're going to sew. So I sewed actually from the front seam up to a part of the back, but not the whole back yet, because the closure I'm using is a zipper. Are the final results. You can see the top as well as the shorts, inspired again by the Maddy Euphoria outfit. For the band, I just used a hook and eye closure. If you don't want a hook and eye closure, you can just tie it. Wonder why my mind keeps on spinning. This is how I live into me what you told. Why am I like this? Something's always amiss. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't up. Next, we're doing this dress. I actually really like the fabric of the dress. and the skirt part. I just don't like the torso part of it, like the bodice. So I got rid of the neckline and of the seams, again using a seam reaper. As you can see, the seams are still there from the actual production of the dress, and then I just folded it over. Same with the neckline. You see me here just sewing the neckline part now that I've removed the collar. And now that it's all sewed up and it's closed again, I cut off and left like 1/8 of an inch so that I can cover it up with bias tape so it looks a bit more clean, the neckline. You can see me here just cutting the excess fabric. Then using a bias tape, I'm going to be covering it. You can see me, yeah, you can see the bias tape. I'm just going to enclose the raw edge. It's just pinned all the way. Again, pins are your best friend. And then just sew it. For the sleeves, I basically just did the exact same thing, except I folded it over on itself and I didn't put like the bias tape. This is what it looks like. It's just a neckline that has the piping, but I liked how it turned out. It's just for more of a casual look now. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and all of those beautiful things, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!